This is Bill Rhea. I'm running for United States Congress in the Republican primary this June. And by the way, unaffiliated voters are able this June to vote in the Republican primary. Please consider doing so and supporting me. Send a new voice, an independent voice, to Washington. Today's June 4th, 2018, 50 years after Martin Luther King was killed in Memphis. The flag behind me, you can see, is tattered. It's tattered because of the wind beating against it day after day after day. I need to replace it soon. But our nation is tattered too. And part of the reason our nation is tattered is because of really disturbing racial divisions in this country. We've had a number of police shootings, some of which may have been justified, but most of them appear not to have been justified. And certainly the aspect of African Americans being more at risk at the hands of the police is a real issue that needs to be examined and looked at honestly and forthrightly. We can't just immediately side with the police and say Blue Lives Matter, or with the African Americans and say we've done nothing wrong. These are individual cases that need to be looked at individually. As a former judge, I know that. Each case stands or falls on its own merit. But we do have patterns that develop that need to be considered, and they need to be considered with humility and honesty. I think we really need to take a look at the whole justice system, where the incarceration rate among African Americans and other minorities is way higher than it is among the Anglo population. Even heard a report today on the radio about discipline in preschool, where preschoolers of color, children of color, are disciplined and suspended more frequently, much more frequently, like 3 or 4 times as much than white kids. Now there's something that's really should tell us, make clear to us that there's still this undercurrent of racism in our society. We need to take active, proactive steps to really try to solve that. And mostly that involves giving voice to those who are affected by these perhaps institutional racial barriers and prejudices. I would really take active steps to do that. In my campaign, there will be people of color who have voices to express the kind of concerns that I'm attempting to express in a way on their behalf. I'm not the one who really should be expressing those. They should be. And they should be listened to. I guess that's the main point here. They should be listened to instead of argued with or squelched in some way. So we need an open dialogue in this country. We need a humble dialogue. We need peace, and we need to respect one another and give dignity to one another. And that's much of what I'm about. I'm concerned about the divisiveness in the politics in Washington, among races. There's so much we can do to bring healing, and we need to do it, and we need to do it quickly. This country's in danger. Its character is in danger. And that's why I really want to go to Washington and deal with some of these issues. Thank you very much for listening. Bill Rhea for Congress, the wild card. I am unusual. I am a little bit more of an independent Republican, but I've got a bold voice. I've got no ego in this. I just want to do some good for our country. Thank you for listening.